For decades, we've all been told the same thing about back pain. Stretch more, crunch harder, bend deeper. But what if those very exercises are the reason your back still hurts every morning? Back pain after 50 doesn't strike like lightning. It builds slowly, a little stiffness getting out of bed, an ache that lingers through the day, a quiet hesitation before you bend down. And here's the surprising truth. Nearly 80% of that pain isn't caused by weakness or age. It comes from doing the wrong kind of helpful movements. Today, I'll show you 3 exercises that silently work against your spine, and the simple alternatives that build real strength and support. Stick with me, because your comfort and independence depend on it. Forward bends and toe touches. This movement feels like the right thing to do, doesn't it? Reaching down toward your toes, stretching that tight feeling in your hamstrings and lower back. Maybe you do it first thing in the morning or after sitting for long periods, thinking you're loosening up. I see this every day, and I understand why it seems logical. When something feels tight, our natural instinct is to stretch it. But your spine after 50 operates under different rules than it did in your 20s and 30s. The very act of bending forward repeatedly is like asking an already strained system to work even harder. But here's what happens inside your spine when you bend forward like this. Each vertebra in your lower back experiences what researchers call flexion stress. A 2019 study in the Journal of Biomechanics found that forward bending increases pressure on your spinal discs by up to 40%. For a spine that's already dealing with age-related changes, less cushioning between vertebrae, weaker supporting muscles, this repetitive forward pressure becomes like dropping the same stone on the same spot, over and over. Your spine has natural curves for a reason. When you round forward to touch your toes, you're flattening that essential lower back curve, forcing your vertebrae to bear weight in a way they weren't designed for. Think of it like bending a credit card repeatedly. Eventually, it creates a weak spot that never quite recovers. What makes this even more concerning is how this affects your daily activities. Every time you bend forward to pick up something from the floor, get something from a low cabinet, or tie your shoes, you're repeating that same harmful pattern. Your body starts to associate forward bending with discomfort, making simple tasks feel increasingly difficult. What your body is really telling you is this: that tight feeling isn't coming from muscles that need stretching. It's coming from muscles that are already overstretched and weak, desperately trying to hold your spine in proper alignment. When you bend forward, you're not releasing tension. You're creating more instability. The breathing mistake that makes it worse is common too. Most people hold their breath during forward bends, which prevents your core muscles from doing their job of protecting your spine. Without proper breathing, you're putting all the stress on your vertebrae and discs instead of engaging the muscles that should be sharing the load. The gentle alternative that actually works is surprisingly simple. Instead of bending forward, try this. Stand with your back against a wall, feet about 6 inches away from the baseboard. Place your hands on your lower ribs and breathe in slowly, letting your ribs expand outward. As you exhale, gently draw your belly button toward your spine while maintaining the natural curve in your lower back against the wall. Hold this for 3 slow breaths. You're not stretching tight muscles. You're teaching your deep core muscles to support your spine properly. This movement, called wall breathing, helps restore the coordination between your diaphragm and your deep abdominal muscles, giving your spine the internal support it's been missing. What's beautiful about this alternative is how it translates to real life. When you practice proper breathing and core engagement against the wall, you're training your body to automatically engage these same protective muscles when you do need to bend forward in daily life. It's like giving your spine its own internal brace. If you're just starting out, begin with just 1 breath at a time, focusing on the gentle expansion and contraction rather than forcing any movement. As you become more comfortable, you can hold a gentle contraction for 5 seconds on each exhale, keeping your lower back curve against the wall. When you're ready for more challenge, try lifting one foot slightly off the ground while maintaining the breathing pattern and spinal position. Remember to avoid pressing your entire back flat against the wall. You want to maintain that natural curve in your lower back and never force the breathing. Let it happen gradually and naturally. This isn't about perfection. It's about creating a new, healthier pattern. Traditional crunches and sit-ups. You've probably been told that crunches and sit-ups are the gold standard for core strength. Maybe you lie on your back every morning, pulling your head toward your knees, believing you're building the strong middle your back needs. This breaks my heart to see because I know you're working so hard to do the right thing for your body. But traditional crunches are like trying to strengthen a house by repeatedly stressing the foundation. Every time you curl forward, you're creating the exact same damaging spinal flexion we talked about with toe touches. Except now, you're adding repetition and often speed to the mix. The tragedy is that people often do hundreds of crunches, believing that more equals better. But when it comes to your spine, especially as we age, quality matters infinitely more than quantity. Those hundreds of repetitions aren't building strength. They're wearing down your spine's ability to handle the stresses of daily life. Here's the science that changes everything. A groundbreaking study by Dr. Stuart McGill, one of the world's leading spine researchers, found that the repeated flexion motion of crunches creates the same type of disc damage seen in workplace injuries. Your spinal discs, especially as we age, have a limited number of bending cycles before they start to break down. But there's something even more important happening here. Your core isn't just your abs. It's a complex system of deep muscles that wrap around your torso like a natural back brace. When you do crunches, you're only working the surface muscles, the ones you can see, while completely ignoring the deep stabilizers that actually protect your spine during daily activities. Think about when you feel strongest and most confident during your day. It's probably not when you're lying on your back curling forward. It's when you're standing tall, walking with purpose, carrying things with ease. Those moments require your core to work as a coordinated team, not as isolated muscles doing repetitive movements. What your back really needs is different from what most people think. Think about your daily movements, getting out of a chair, carrying groceries, reaching for something on a high shelf. None of these require you to curl forward repeatedly. They require your core to stay stable while your arms and legs move. Traditional crunches train your core to do the opposite of what you actually need. The breathing connection that makes all the difference is often overlooked. During crunches, most people hold their breath or breathe incorrectly, which shuts down the deep core muscles entirely. Your diaphragm and pelvic floor work together with your deep abdominals to create internal pressure that supports your spine. Crunches disrupt this natural coordination. The gentle alternative that builds real functional strength is this. Lie on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Take a slow breath in, letting your rib cage expand sideways, not up toward the ceiling. As you breathe out, very gently draw your belly button toward your spine, not sucking in, just a gentle drawing inward while keeping your lower back in its natural position. The magic happens during the exhale. You're training all those deep core muscles to work together the way they do during real life. Hold this gentle contraction for 3 seconds, then relax completely before the next breath. This exercise might seem too simple at first, especially if you're used to feeling exhausted after your core workout. But simplicity is exactly what your spine needs. You're building strength that you can actually use, creating stability that translates to everything you do throughout your day. When you're beginning, focus only on the breathing pattern without any abdominal contraction. Just learning to breathe into your ribs instead of your belly is a huge step forward. As you progress, you can add a very gentle knee lift while maintaining the breathing and core connection. Lift one knee just an inch or two off the ground. For those ready for more challenge, try extending the opposite arm overhead while lifting one knee, maintaining perfect breathing and core stability throughout the movement. The key things to avoid are holding your breath, forcing your back flat against the floor, and creating any tension in your neck or shoulders. This should feel calm and controlled, not stressful. If you feel any strain in your neck or if the movement causes discomfort, return to just the breathing pattern until your body is ready for more. Back extensions and COBRA poses. This might surprise you because back extensions seem like the perfect opposite of all that forward bending. You lie face down and lift your chest and legs, or maybe you do them on a machine at the gym, thinking you're strengthening your back muscles and fighting against all that hunching forward. I understand the logic. If forward bending is bad, then backward bending must be good, right? But your spine doesn't work in such simple terms, especially after decades of life and the natural changes that come with aging. The appeal of back extensions makes perfect sense when you think about how much time we spend rounded forward, sitting at computers, driving, reading, doing household tasks. It feels natural to want to reverse that positioning. But what feels logical isn't always what's best for your body, particularly when we're dealing with the delicate balance of an aging spine. Here's what happens when you repeatedly arch backward. You're compressing the small joints in the back of your spine, called facet joints. These joints, which help guide movement and provide stability, become increasingly sensitive with age. A study in the International Journal of Spine Surgery found that excessive extension exercises can actually accelerate arthritis in these joints, leading to more pain and stiffness, not less. But here's the deeper issue. Just like with crunches, back extensions train your spine to move in an extreme range rather than teaching it to stay stable and strong in the positions you actually use every day. Think about it. When do you need to arch your back dramatically in real life? Almost never. What you need is a back that can stay strong and stable while you reach, lift, turn, and move through your day. The coordination problem that makes everything worse is this. Your back muscles work best when they coordinate with your deep core and hip muscles. Back extensions typically isolate the back muscles, training them to work alone instead of as part of the team. This creates an imbalance that can actually make your back pain worse over time. Many people also push too hard with back extensions, believing that if a little extension is good, more must be better. But your spine, especially the small joints we talked about, responds much better to gentle, controlled movements that respect your body's natural limits. The breathing pattern that compounds the problem is similar to the other exercises. Most people hold their breath during back extensions, which prevents the natural coordination between your breathing muscles and your spine stabilizers. Without proper breathing, you're creating tension instead of functional strength. The gentle alternative that builds lasting stability is much more subtle but far more effective. Start on your hands and knees in a comfortable tabletop position. Place your hands directly under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Find that neutral spine position, not arched up or rounded down, just naturally straight. Now, instead of moving your spine at all, breathe in and let your ribcage expand naturally. As you breathe out, gently engage your core, like we practiced earlier, and lift just one hand about 2 inches off the ground. Hold for 3 seconds, then lower it back down. Rest for a moment, then try the other hand. You're not trying to create a big movement or challenge yourself with difficulty. You're teaching your spine to stay stable while something else moves. Exactly what you need for daily life. This exercise, sometimes called bird dog preparation, trains all your core and back muscles to work together as a coordinated team. The beauty of this approach is how it mimics real-world stability. When you're carrying groceries with one arm, your spine needs to stay stable while one side of your body is working harder. When you're reaching for something on a high shelf, your spine needs to maintain its position while your arm moves. This gentle exercise trains exactly those patterns. When starting out, focus on just the breathing pattern while holding the tabletop position. Focus on keeping your spine steady and natural. As you become more comfortable, lift one hand at a time, holding for 5 seconds while maintaining steady breathing. Those ready for more can try lifting the opposite hand and knee simultaneously, moving very slowly and maintaining perfect spinal position throughout. Be careful not to arch your back or let your hips shift to one side. Keep your head in line with your spine, not looking up or letting it hang down. And remember, smaller movements done with perfect control are infinitely more valuable than big movements done poorly. The pattern that changes everything. Do you see the connection between all three of these exercises? They all train your spine to move to extremes, too much forward, too much backward, or with poor coordination. But your back doesn't need more extreme movement. It needs better stability, better coordination, and better support from your deep core muscles. The gentle alternatives I've shared work because they train your spine the way you actually use it in daily life, staying stable and strong while other parts of your body move. They teach your breathing muscles to work with your core muscles. They build strength from the inside out, creating a natural support system for your spine. What's remarkable is how these gentle movements can change not just how your back feels, but how you move through your entire day. When your core muscles learn to work together properly, when your breathing supports your spine naturally, when your back muscles coordinate instead of working in isolation, everything becomes easier. Getting up from chairs, walking upstairs, carrying things, even sleeping, all of these improve when your spine has the support it truly needs. The daily integration that makes it permanent is simpler than you might think. Choose just one of the alternatives to start with. Practice it for 2 minutes each morning, maybe while your coffee brews or before you check the morning news. Don't think of it as exercise. Think of it as teaching your back to support you better throughout the day. After a week, add the second movement. After another week, add the third. Soon you'll have a gentle 6-minute routine that does more for your back than hours of harmful exercises ever could. Remember, your body has been doing those harmful patterns for months or maybe even years. Give yourself time to create new, healthier patterns. Some days will feel better than others, and that's completely normal. What matters is consistency, not perfection. The path forward. Each gentle movement you've learned today brings you closer to lasting relief. These aren't just exercises, they're investments in your independence, your comfort, and your confidence. Your back pain didn't develop overnight, and it won't disappear overnight. But with these gentle, spine-friendly movements, you're giving your body exactly what it needs to heal and strengthen itself from the inside out. These movements can become as natural as brushing your teeth, a simple part of your day that protects and nurtures your body. No special equipment needed, no gym membership required, just a few minutes of gentle, purposeful movement. The journey ahead is about more than just reducing pain. It's about reclaiming your confidence in your body's ability to support you. It's about walking into each day knowing that your spine is getting stronger, not weaker. It's about the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're finally working with your body instead of against it. Change takes time, especially after years of well-intentioned but harmful habits. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate the small victories, the morning you get out of bed without that familiar ache, the afternoon you stand up from your chair without needing to pause, the evening when you realize you haven't thought about your back pain all day. If this helped you understand why your current routine might be working against you, comment with the number 3 below. I'd love to know which of these exercises you've been doing, and I'm here to support you as you make this transition to gentler, more effective movement. Consider subscribing if you'd like more gentle guidance for staying strong and independent after 50. And if you know someone else who's been struggling with persistent back pain, please share this with them. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is help someone stop doing what's hurting them. Remember, it's never too late to change direction. Your back has an amazing capacity to feel better and get stronger, no matter how long you've been in pain. And you don't have to figure this out alone. Your spine has carried you this far. Now let's give it the gentle support it needs to carry you forward with confidence, comfort, and strength. The best years of your life don't have to be behind you. They can be right ahead, supported by a back that feels strong, stable, and ready for whatever life brings.